Thank you so much for joining. And I would like to start off with who is Supreme Allah? Can you tell the audience?
Yeah. I'm an MC, rapper, producer, marketing maven, um, leader of Comrad Camp, worldwide international hip hop crew, co-op, I like to call it, a hip hop coalition that started around 1996, 97. Peace to Noble Phoenix Ali, who's in the building from the Wu family, 12 Tribes Music, aka Juice the Witch Doctor. Thank you so much for coming through. Mike Booth, um, Comrade Camp member in Missouri. Heather Marie from Worldwide Collaboration, great singer, marketer, radio personality. Yeah, so I'm basically just an artist, started, well, I'll let you ask the questions, but yeah, that's who I am, just an MC,
Uh-huh.
lover, and purveyor of hip hop, basically.
Oh, okay. I think he's being modest today, guys. So, with that being said, thank you for that introduction, sir. Let's bring it all the way back, right,
Yeah,
to Windsor Locks,
yeah,
Connecticut.
yes,
Um,
ma'am.
when did you start? Like, when did you think, like, okay, music is my thing. I need to go ahead and start doing this.
So actually, my older brother Rashid had I remember when the advanced single was being played on college radio, Trinity College to be exact, and my brother had like a boombox that had two tape decks,
Uh huh.
and it had like a very small very small microphone, you know, and he used to record all the college radio shows. And one day he was like, "Yo, you should do a rap."
Okay.
So he kind of gassed me to do it. You know what I mean? He's like, "You should do a rap," and he had recorded the Juicy instrumental because they had it in '93, I believe. It came out, the single actually came out in '94, but like, Bad Boy was getting it out early, so he had recorded instrumental, and I did a rap over it. It was whack, and but I did record it, and the way we recorded it was he would play it out the speaker out my mom's home system, and then record on the boombox, and so I have to be like near the speaker rapping, and the boombox, he'd be holding the boombox towards me, and it wasn't very good, and then I kind of didn't try to do anything for a while with the rhyming and stuff, and then what happened was one day I said to my brother Rashid, I'm gonna be a DJ, right? I believe it's '95 because 60 Minutes of Funk Volume One that came out, and he had the that was Funk Master Flex mixtape, and I liked the way the scratching and the way he was mixing it up, what DJs don't do now. So I said, "Oh, I'm gonna be a DJ." He's like, "No, you're not." And I was like 10 or 11, so I got really upset, and so my pops felt bad. So for Christmas, he gave me turntables, and he has like a pretty big vinyl collection. And he said I couldn't keep them. He said I could just practice, and of course I ruined them all, scratching them.
Uh oh.
He gave me turntables, an amp, he hooked up some speakers, a microphone, and I just started DJing and just practicing DJing. So that was when I was like about 11, I believe. And then from there, I would just like try to make little mixtapes and just scratch, and I was horrible at it. And then so then when I was 11, so then I was 12, I got locked up, and I got out around when I was about 14. And when I was 14, then I started, more, I learned a little bit more about mixing, blending, and then I realized you could record on the tape deck through the mixer, through the home system. And I started to, you might as well just come in, brother, please. So then I just started to just record myself over instrumentals. So now I would like take, like, let's say like uh Prince Marky D, right? I forgot the name of his single, but so he had a single. It was the Outstanding though. Doom, 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 outstanding, but it was a remake of that, right? So I would take like Prince Marky D, Brownstone, and just rhyme over it like "Don't walk away," but take the instrumentals and rhyme over them. So now I start rhyming, start rhyming, start rhyming, start rhyming. Now I'm recording myself with instrumentals, and the first thing I put out was it was a mixtape. All it was me scratching the records on one side, and the same records I scratched, I was rhyming to on the other side, the instrumentals, because I only had like 9 records, right? But I would say it got real serious when I met Sabani, who is the founder of Comrade Camp. And I met him, I believe, in 90. Well, I met him in like 95, but 97 was when, Comrade Camp transferred over from what it was, because
Mhm.
Sabani is from the Bronx, and in the Bronx you had a let's call it a street fraternity called the 50 Mad Dogs, and
Oh.
50 Mad Dogs was you know a, a family, let's call it that, and I started DJing for Sabani, so I would scratch the records, he'd rap. I didn't really rap a lot back then,
Uh-huh.
so um and then it became a little bit more serious. I started DJing house parties. He'd get on the mic. Sometimes I get on the mic, and then my brother started buying me records. Like one of the first records he bought me in '96 was Mobb Deep, "Hell on Earth," the instrumental, and
Mhm.
then so from then on, so now I'm 97, so now I'm like 15, so now I'm getting like more serious about it, and you know, so the first two was me and Sabani. Then there was a brother who now goes by the name of Tape Deck One, but at the time he was Scientific. So back then everyone called me Strike, and yeah, I just started getting more and more serious, trying to sell my mixtapes here and there, and then the first actual thing we released, so I'm jumping ahead a little bit. So between like 97 and 99, there was kind of a rapid acceleration. Like my childhood friend I've known since I was 10, Illidan, he became a
Uh,
Comrade member. Then we had Adamus, who's from Jamaica, but he moved to Windsor Lock. So I'm from Hartford, right, originally, which is the capital of Connecticut. But I've been in Windsor Lock since I was like 11 or so. So now we've got Adamus, we got Jay Nice. Like there's about like 6 or 7 of us at the time. So in 1998, I want to say the end of '98, we came up with a single called well, the maxi single, right? Because it was four
uh-huh.
songs. It was called A Connecticut Story, and our group was called the Clockers, Strike and Scientific. Like Strike and Scientific are the characters from the movie Clockers, and
Mhm.
we put that CD out, and we sold a few. We try to flip them, basically flipping CDs, um, and now around the same time I joined a youth group. That what they would do is they would teach us about stage presence. It was in Hartford, and they teach us about stage presence, etiquette, how to perform, how to work the stage, and then the guy who started, his name was Kapu. He was from a crew called SUP, Some Unknown People. Some
Okay.
Unknown People was kind of like Wu-Tang, but they were just in Hartford, where there was like 40 of them.
Mhm.
They were all like, so if I'm 15, they're already like 25, 27, 30. They're real experienced MCs. They were part of well, anyway. So they had already had like businesses downtown Hartford, clothing stores, skateboard shops, and they were like a real tight crew. They'd ended up being in the Source magazine. Now they have a clothing company. It's not even really sold in America. They went to France, studied garment and textiles, and it's called uh 360 Ave Couture.
Oh.
Um, because Albany Ave is like the main street that runs through Hartford, goes all the way up to New York, goes all the way up. It's one main road. And Albany Ave is like right in the middle of the north end of Hartford, where most of us are from. So I started going doing shows. My first show, I think I was 15. It was on Blue Hills Ave in Hartford in the North End. It was at Family Day. It was on a
Okay.
stage they constructed, and that was the first time I actually performed, not at a house party, like an actual show. And then regularly from that, we would rehearse every Sunday with the youth group, and then I'd always get shows based. It was weird because I was like 15, 16, but I was getting shows in places that were 21 and over, maybe 18 and over, all over Hartford, just Hartford County, really the area. So that was how that was going. And then unfortunately, the founder, Sabani Stewart, aka
Mhm.
Bonnie Shine, he ended up having to uh, donate some time at the governor's leisure. So he ended up going away. I became de facto leader of Comrade Camp. So once I became president, I really worked on trying to really copy the blueprint of things I saw in hip hop from the '90s, more so like Boot Camp Click, Wu Tang, like the crews, right? Because like I
Yeah.
grew up, it was always crews. Like even within SUP to some unknown people, there was like 9 different crews because there was like 50 of them. So I was always used to like crews, when you got the Universal Zulu Nation and Rocksteady and just different. So I'm always used to crews, always used to having a lot of people. And fortunately, I was able to cultivate that because my mom always encouraged me to, follow what I was doing musically. So like my basement ended up becoming where everyone we'd always record there. Sometimes we recorded scientifics, but we record in the basement. We record just constantly. So yeah, so around 2000, we start to really like frequent a lot of college radio. And in the tri-state area, Connecticut, Mass, New York, there's tons and tons of college stations that will service hip hop. So in Connecticut, I think there's like 19 alone
Mm,
colleges. So between Connecticut, New York, and Mass, we could just get so much buzz. So we started to really accelerate and gain steam. And then like Code Red, who's from
mhm,
Scorpion Productions, but he's also Comrade. He moved to Virginia, recruited some people. So now we're kind of like getting some steam and some traction and
mm,
some buzz. And at one point, I was offered, a record deal with Arista and by this guy
mhm,
Dino, who he was one of Clive Davis A&Rs. I refused it because, stupidly so, my brother always told me I should have took it. They said all the beats got to be the Neptunes. It's got to be, we're gonna pick your clothes. We're gonna write for you. And I was like, no, I don't think so. So
mhm,
around the same time, so they ended up kind of just going with Nelly because I was like, no, I'm straight. So Nelly did, and good for him. I wouldn't have it no other way. I actually met with Dino, met with Arista, was gonna sign, and didn't work out because I wasn't really down with like people writing my stuff, right?
mhm,
So, it's important that I point out that like my having an older brother who was always really like on the cusp and really involved in the underground, knowing what was up. I
yeah,
never really was like a fan of just like uh, you know, if you do the 80s, Father MC, Young MC, like or like Tone Loc or No Offense, or like MC Hammer or to a certain degree, even Biggie. Because like
mm,
for me, between 95 to 2000, everyone's listening to like Pac, Biggie. I'm listening to like J. Rue the Damager, Bush Babies, Boogie
mm,
Monsters. Bush Babies, Most Def was kind of like a member of the Bush Babies.
mhm,
Um, and J. Rue the Damager, Afu Ra. Like I was so not influenced by what was on TV or on like mainstream radio because I didn't care because like my brother had me listening to like bars, people that were like, you know,
mhm,
real lyricists. So like I was never too intrigued by mainstream stuff. Now, don't get me wrong, sometimes stuff that's bars gets mainstream.
uh-huh,
But what I mean is like I've never owned a BIG album. I've never owned a Pac album. It didn't
mm,
interest me because in my estimation, there were people that weren't getting the shine. And I knew that. And I knew
right.
that because of hold on one second.
Well, um, that was a lovely piano playing in the background. So I believe I realized that usually I go through, a YouTube channel for artists to play their music and their videos and whatnot, but I can connect the SoundCloud here. So if you guys can hold tight while he's doing that, I'll do my best to entertain the audience. So let me know if you can hear it this time.
Big news. Find new lower
Well,
prices at Amazon Fresh. Every aisle, every day.
gotta
Now
love
you can shop lower
commercials.
prices on thousands of items. No Prime membership
Oh,
required.
so I was trying to entertain the audience.
Yo. What up, yo?
Here we go.
Yeah, go. Everybody gets outdone, right? The one-man carousel is back. Run, bye-bye. Everybody gets outdone, right? The human death star got the mic. Run, bye-bye. Everybody gets outdone. Comrade leader is home, yo. Run, nice try. I'ma spill your life though. I'm a nice guy. I am. Jazzy beat so fly. Her bass line's about to help me tongue kiss the sky. Sexy. I lead the mighty rhythm gang. Boy, respect me.
The rhythm game.
Go. Bang, bang, anytime, anywhere you see us. Rhyme 9 so big, we will clap your whole region. Or legion. They think I'm AI cheated. Since night after night, giving 10 beats a beating. Possibly more. The bars make housewives stop doing chores. Hold up. I got the speed of cheetahs. Here hard as Vegeta. My energy will make the worst critic believer. Flow shatter aspirations, ruin evenings. No, my flow so sharp, I will leave a head of bleeding. Promo Mac. Everybody gets outdone. Go. The one-man carousel is back. Run. Bye-bye. Everybody gets outdone. Go. The human death star is back. Run, bye-bye, everybody gets outdone. Go, comrade leader is home. Run, bye-bye, everybody gets outdone. Everybody gets outdone. Go. Yeah, we on the roll now, baby. I'm gonna show you how to cook. You ain't creative like that, I'm sorry for you. One.
Yeah.
Here we go. I was on mute. Uh, at least I got the audio to work on the SoundCloud. Did you guys love it? It looks like Heather Marie says go. We have a whole bunch of people here. Thank you for so much for joining. Jasuko Henderson. We have Carol, Kagel, Mike Booth. I'm sorry, my apologies in advance if I'm chopping your name up. Mike Booth. Okay. Uh, okay, can you hear me, Supreme Allah? Okay, so I'm gonna. You go. Okay, you good? Okay, I was gonna take you off the mute.
Yep.
Okay, it looks like Mike Booth said run. All right.
Run, yeah.
Well,
Word.
there we go. I believe you left off with, gosh, we were talking about your history behind music and how you started, and then I believe I, let's just move on to the next question. How about that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, take us back, right, to how your environment shaped you as an MC and producer. I know you mentioned your brother, but was there any like you mentioned some artists or some underground folks, but what was the pivotal point in your music career that you were like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and go forth and make this like a career?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, between like skateboarding and DJing and rapping,
Mhm.
I would say it was a slow crawl to thinking it could be something, right? So like 98, there was a guy named he goes by the name Big Stat now. He actually toured with Method Man and Redman. Gary Monteleone, he's from Suffield, Connecticut. He had a CD burner and a digital recorder, which was like holy crap, right? At that time in Hartford, I only knew two people that had a CD out. It was Sean Champion and SUP. No one had even access to that. CDs, it cost doggone near $8 a piece. So I went from like getting tapes and just
Mhm.
burning those and trying to flip that and think, this makes me enough money to go to the arcade. I'm 15, right? Playing Tekken. Then, because my boy had a car, so we can drive to Staples and get some CDs made.
Mhm.
Oh, it's a little more serious now. Now we're doing a show. So it's a slow evolution to taking it serious.
Uh-huh.
So initially I thought I was going to be a DJ. Then I found out I was going to be an MC because I became more passionate about that. So, around that time, it just became more and more intense as far as like more and more opportunities. So I
Mhm.
started to get more serious into it. I would say 2001, 2002 was kind of a slow period.
Mhm.
Not much was moving. And what happened was me and Scientific kind of split. A few of the members, Illidan to this day still rocks for Comrade Camp. I know, like I said, he's probably the oldest member. I know him since I was 10. And then there was like a second generation. They were all young dudes from around the area. There was Prophecy, there was Spaz, there was just there was a bunch of guys. I met a lot of Manchester people. I met a bunch of people in 2003, and then it was like in 2003 we were working consistently. There was always shows, whether it was an open mic or a paid show. There was always radio. There was just always something. So in 2003, we put out something called the Marines Mixtape. And at that time, I was in and out of New York a lot, so I came up with a tactic where I would give my CD, the Marines Mixtape, I'd give it to bootleggers in Times Square in Jersey and say, "This is the new group that's going to get signed to Rockefeller." So
Mm.
next thing you know, the bootleggers bootleg the heck out of it, so it just spread. Like the Marines Mixtape, I don't even know the numbers. So the Marines Mixtape was Spaz, Illidan, me, and Prophecy, and it was just bootleg hundreds of thousands of times. So we
Mm.
had good buzz. We had some stuff going on. Yeah, so 2003 was a very productive year. My cousin Young Guap had opened up a hip hop studio slash clothing store in East Windsor, which is across the river from us. So we were just the area was moving real strong. There was something called CT Creative Tension, which was the artist union, and 2003 was very just really productive. Uh, yeah, it got quiet in 2004 and five. 2006, I met Jay Suko, who's in the live.
Okay.
What's up, Chakai? I see Chakai, Power Miracle Light. So 2006. Well, no, really, I knew Jay Suko Blaze before that, but
Mhm.
in 2006, he had opened up a photography studio in Hartford, and I would kind of record people out of there. And he started getting us into a lot of like he got us into like go do photography for Capone Noriega in New Britain, Connecticut, and just through the photography studio, I made even more connections because I kind of handled just the marketing for that, like getting people to the studio. And by the way, Jay Suko is probably one of the best film editors, photographers on the whole East Coast. Um, 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 oh, I guess they can't see my face. So yeah, so so 2006 we got really productive again. I came out with the mix album called Talking Ish. Jay Suko did the cover for that, AI Enterprise, and just a lot of stuff, man. I met my boy Brent Hall, who had Get Right mixtapes and Get Right marketing, and just a whole lot of stuff. And so 2006 to 2009 was just very, very, very productive. And that's, I would say 2009 is when I said, yeah, I'm not going to do anything else. That's when I really saw it because the web, the World Wide Web was so strong with
Mhm.
MySpace and Twitter had just came out. And um, there was just so many avenues and it became really easy to like reach out to people. Already I had connections from, just traveling around, going to like the festivals, going to fish concerts and different
Mhm.
bands that I'm not even gonna name. So now next thing you know, I said this is all I'm gonna do because I saw it was possible and feasible. Between Jay Suko and Brent Hall, who both have really good business acumen, it
Mm.
showed me that if you're organized and structured, it could really work. So it got serious around 2009. That's when we moved into Massachusetts really heavy. I started hosting open mic battles and doing a lot of shows in Mass, Vermont,
Mhm.
New Hampshire, and that's just 2009. I say was probably when the light. I always love it, so I'm gonna do it anyway. But then I said, oh, this can actually be lucrative. I could probably make at least $2. You know what I mean?
Okay.
At
All
least
right.
$2.
Most definitely. So, what were your first encounters with hip hop, right? And when did you know this was your path, like solidly? And
Mhm.
your in your early, like for instance, your early influences, both lyrically and production wise, because when I first listened to your music, I was taken. I was like, oh, okay. You have like this strong, pronounced voice, if you
Mhm.
will, and it speaks volumes. In other words, it's like it moves people, right? It definitely moved me. So
Thank
I'm
you.
just wondering, did you know about that, in your early years, or did it just, how did it happen? Were you always like this, or did it progress into that?
Well, my mother likes to say that I was started talking when I was 2 and haven't stopped since. Um, so I've always been into like poetry. I've been an avid reader. Um, so I'm not sure when I found my voice. Them early tapes, which I still have. I was more trying to like. I thought I was Prodigy. I was trying to emulate Prodigy.
Okay.
So I didn't find honestly as a lyricist. I don't think I really found my voice till like '97. No, I'm sorry, '99. I'm skipping over a lot because like there's so much detail. So like after the Clockers came out, then we put out the Connecticut Story actual album. Then I put out an album with a band called October Afternoon from Windsor, Connecticut, which is all live instruments. Then I
Mhm.
put out an album where it was called Drew Storms, The Hangover. On The Hangover is where I think I found my voice. So I was
Okay.
about 19 when The Hangover came out, and I think that's when I found it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Um, but
definitely have. I mean to cut you off. You definitely have a pronounced voice, a voice that basically carries, if that makes sense, carries weight. And especially what enjoy most is the clarity of your lyrics and the substance, obviously. So the both clarity, substance, and then I mean to top it off, like the beats that you create and how you produce it, it's like it's stellar because it's clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you
Oh, well,
got the
thank you.
mix, you got everything down packed. So, um,
Well, so I've been doing it for quite some time, and uh, I work with I mean, for the record, I produce, but not as much as you know, if you look on my SoundCloud or anywhere, it always says featuring, 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 featuring. So my thing is always to try, especially with Comrade Camp, it's a co-op. So I always try to like lighten my own load, if you will, where I don't have to worry about producing because I'm not really passionate about making beats. I just like to rhyme. Um, so some of my early influences were probably like obviously Wu-Tang, like I said, Boot Camp Click, so many. One of my main influences though, who I really, really loved was MF Doom. He's probably my favorite lyricist of all time. I loved MF Doom, and I kind of liked how like he didn't have to necessarily be. I don't really like it to be so uniform where it's like rhyme, 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 stop, rhyme, rhyme. He's very like in and out, almost like a jazz type performer, where it might not necessarily be a 4/4 measure, it might be 3/4, it might be five, just all over the place, but still in pocket, I guess you would
uh-huh.
call it, right? So I don't know, became more confident in my skills as time went on. And I'm always skipping, so I'm always backtracking. Mind you, when I first really started rapping and started taking more serious, it was mostly battles. So I was battling, not the way they battle now. It'd be like the DJ throwing a beat and you don't get to pick the beat, you don't get to study the battle for 9 months and all this silliness. So like I was very spontaneous. You can't really have house parties in the city no more, but back in the 90s, there was house parties all over. Like,
Mm.
I mean, I've been to house parties in Connecticut, house parties in New York, house parties in Boston, house parties in Vermont, Long Island, Queens, and everywhere I go, I would try to challenge everyone in battle. As far as Hartford goes, I don't battle anymore because I don't really, it's not my thing. But when I was from 15 to 22, undefeated, nobody could see me battling. I'm not sure where it comes from, the freestyle ability, but so I became, like I said, more confident and just listening to just a lot of dope rappers too helped me say, oh yeah, because there's a path, right, for a person that's want to be lyrical,
Uh-huh.
and I had to accept the fact that I might not have a million sales or a million followers or whatever, but I can have 500 that are really dedicated,
Mm.
and that's also why I work with so many people because that's going to keep it becomes cyclical. You know what I mean?
Yes. Most definitely. Yeah, I like that your process. You're very methodical in that way. And speaking about Comrade Camp, right? What does it stand for you?
What is it? What does Comrade Camp stand for?
Yeah, stand for, but also in your mindset, right?
Hmm.
Like what is your definition of it? Because I believe everyone has their own specific definition. So I
Yeah,
just want to know what your thoughts are on that.
right. Well, you know, I mean, how Comrade Camp started when Sabani started it was um, so much different thing than what he started in '96. I would say it's evolved because you get older, you mature, you you learn new things, you meet new people. So what I always envisioned it to be was, like I said, I like to call it a co-op, right? So I always envisioned it to be like, for example, so we have members on the West Coast, we have members down south, we have members in the Midwest. So, for example, one of the members, Elijah the poet from Oakland, he came and he stayed with me in Connecticut. And when he got here, what he didn't have to do was pay for a hotel. He didn't have to pay for recording. I set up interviews for him. I got him shows at skate demos, so he could infiltrate, for lack of a better term, the Connecticut, New York, Massachusetts scene without having
Mm,
to pay someone or have a manager or market. So what it is if someone needs someone to edit something, a video, or someone needs a beat, or someone needs something to record,
mhm.
you got that. So we're self-sufficient. So we don't have to rely on record labels because labels ain't gonna. I mean, they're hardly even around anymore. They ain't gonna help you. They ain't gonna help you then. They ain't gonna help you now. So I envisioned it as a self-sufficient thing where we could sustain and without compromising our art. That's kind of the main key, right? So a comrade is a person you live with, eat with, um, pause, sleep with. You know what I mean? Fraternize with.
Right.
So I wanted to be a sustainable thing that could perpetuate. So that's how I define it as a co-op.
Right. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, you know, there's the definition of what's written, and then there's, of course, there's a person, each individual's definition of what
Mhm.
they've experienced and whatnot. I think that's an awesome way of connection, especially networking and actually it's really like infusing the music right between different regions across the nation and perhaps even worldwide. And so I think that's a great way to do things, especially in creating your music, because you get to bounce ideas off different artists from different parts of the world.
Yeah,
How, yeah, so how did your crew form, right? And what makes your collective different from other underground movements?
right. So when it well, I think I kind of built a little bit of how we formed. Savani started it. I became president, and I really, and I'm sure we'll get to this after, but I really, even from '92, I would say I really studied the RZA.
Okay.
Um, he actually did, and anyone can Google it. He did an interview, which is rare to do like a 10, 15 page interview. He did this interview that was in a magazine called Strength. It was like a skateboard slash hip hop magazine, and he really broke down his process on how he formulated Wu Tang and how he wanted it to come to fruition. And obviously, it worked. And I would probably, when I was in high school, every morning before school, I would read this interview. So
Hmm.
it's like it just like it stuck with me how he moved and how he looked at things and how he conducted himself. So when I took over Comrade Camp, I was just very proactive about, like, I had a rule at first that within 2 months each member had to bring in two new members. So we just multiplied, like, you know, um, and uh, I forgot the other part of the question you asked me. You asked me how do we form. I forgot the second part.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, so basically, what I was asking was how is it different or how does it differ from
Oh, okay,
other
yeah, word,
underground
word,
movements? Okay.
no doubt. So what I think makes us different is that it's 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 not a crew where it's like there's, I would say, one stated goal, like, okay, we have to get a record deal by this age, or we have to do this or this. Nah, there's no judgment. There's no like, we have to get on mainstream radio. We're not concerned about that because the way we move, like, we still sell CDs. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
We still do a lot of things that people aren't doing, and the majority of us, I would say just about all of us, are kind of willing to do the work
Mhm.
to gain followers and fans the right way, right? So I call it community building, man. Like, it's
Mhm.
it's not just, but the right way, right? We don't want to just, like, I'm not interested in going viral. I'm not interested in, like, the big record deal. I
Right.
mean, if it were to come, who's gonna whatever, right? But I kind of been there, done that, had situations with Warner. It doesn't go so well. But so what makes us different too is that, not, I mean, from Mike Booth to the Life Giving MC, Scam Hoffa, Juju, Jay Suko, even though he don't really rap as much as I'd like him to. Kane Militant. I mean, I'm not gonna name us all because there's a ton of us. Don Andreas, who's from upstate New York. There's a ton of us. Every one of us is sharp lyrically. No
Mm.
one's trying to, like, make the twerk song or the club song or the, like, we're not looking for mainstream acceptance because it don't
Mm.
matter, because there's so many of us that if he's got 5 fans and he's got 5 fans and he's got 5 fans, exponentially, there's almost no way to stop it.
Right.
There's almost no way to stop it. As long as people, like, oh, I can't forget my boy Frank Yola from Los Angeles, who's been with us for years. So it's like, that's kind of what makes us different, because a lot of crews I've met and heard about and been around, you can see they have like a stated goal, right? And they say, we want a record deal, we want this, we want that. What I want is for us to be able to sustain ourselves independently and not have to be controlled or have to give up
Mhm.
all of our pub or whatever. Yes, yeah, Azim. Yeah, yes, Azim. I'm looking at the comments. So, I think that's what makes us a little bit different. Every single one of us is like nice, and arguably too, I would say every one of us can produce too. That's the other thing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Mike Booth can produce, Azim can produce, Kane Mills can produce, Cello can produce.
Mm-hmm.
Don Andreas is a heck of a producer and engineer. So all of us kind of have a skill set. Whereas like if you take I don't know, if you take like Wu-Tang, everyone doesn't make beats.
Right.
The original nine I'm talking about, they don't all make beats, right? So like Ghost does sometimes, RZA does sometimes, Deck does when he feels like it. But then
Mm-hmm.
there's members like Meth doesn't make beats, so
Right.
that's the difference. I think that's what makes us a little bit more like we're more lean and versatile. All of us can engineer, all of us can some of us play instruments, you know?
Mm.
Yeah.
Very self-sufficient, and I do hear it. Well, I've been listening to your songs, so and the artists that are featured on there, and what comes to my mind is like, wow, every every song, both artists are like bouncing the ball like basketball. You guys are passing the ball down the court, to make that shot. So yeah, I definitely hear it, and it's almost like, I guess, I'm gonna bring it back to my military training. So
Mhm.
it's like having a structure, right? You have like these things that you have to accomplish, these missions, these tasks. And in order to do that, everybody has to work as a team to complete the mission.
Right.
So yeah, that's what I guess that's the only thing I can really gravitate to, because I've had 24 years of military service. But yeah, I definitely hear that, and I was like, wow, this is very stellar. I've I listen to artists all the time, but it's definitely different in the way you move in tandem. So
Yeah.
what challenges have you faced, right, in building Conrad Camp from ground up?
Well, like I said, 2000 to about 2003 was a very quiet period for Comrade
Yeah.
Camp. Um, Not for any particular reason. I was out in the free world, but it was just like, you know, after Scientific left, and that was kind of difficult because he was the third comrade. Illidan was the fourth,
Mhm.
even though I've known him longer. Once Scientific left, that was kind of rough because like me and him would like practice scratching because we both DJ and rap. So when I
Mm.
first started getting a lot of house parties, like and I actually DJed for the UConn football team in '98, and like we were getting big gigs. I was always with Scientific, so I had a partner next to me all the time. Like he's from Windsor Locks too, so like we were together every day. We went everywhere together. So it was, so once he left, it was kind of difficult, and that's around the time I did the album with October Afternoon, the band from Windsor, like and it was just there just wasn't uh there were members, but they were more interested in other things besides the music. So there was
Mm.
other things going on with Comrade Camp that weren't uh, music or positive. Let's say it that way, right?
Okay.
So then and then like I said, 2003 when I got the second wave of Comrade Camp, that's when it kind of reignited it. So it was a challenge because like I believed in like the mission statement of what it was at the time and what I was trying to design it to be, but it was hard to get members to like, for example, meet the studio every Sunday. Simple as that. And I was having trouble with that. Like, you don't want to come to a studio. It was
No.
difficult. What really helped too was I met a person. He goes by the name Noble Ruffin now, but he used to be called Suge Noble. And I ended up moving in with him. He was a producer, and he put out a 3-song single called Overload. There's only 3 songs, and he's a great producer. He's I still got songs with him to this day. Like I just did something with his nephew last week. So he kind of helped me reignite it because I moved from Windsor Locks to Hartford to Manchester. And I went back to when I went to Manchester, like Manchester reminds me of Hartford just without the building. You
Uh-huh.
know,
Okay.
it's like densely populated and it's massive. It's actually geographically bigger than Hartford. So there was like a ton of people rapping out there. So like Suge's got like 6 brothers and sisters that all do
Mhm.
music and all his nephews rap. And I'm living in the house with them. So that excited me. So, and it was still difficult to get people on one accord because everybody everyone likes to say they have a record label, a crew, so no one wants to kind of fall in line with
Mm.
younger or older. They don't want to accept leadership, right? And
Right.
one of the things I always took from that RZA interview that I still read to this day was that he always said it's not a democracy, right? He's not the oldest, but he's not the youngest. He's in the middle. But if he has the vision, this is his idea, it's okay. You got to rock with how I'm doing it or get out and don't come back no more, no more, no more,
Mm.
right?
Okay.
Because by the time I had met Suge Noble, I had enough idea and study of DJing, rapping, marketing that I knew
Mm.
how it should go. And I had studied, I really, really like from Premier, from DJ Premier to like mostly East Coast. I ain't gonna lie, I'm East Coast biased, but I had really studied organization and structure of from college fraternities to street gangs to hip hop crews. I studied it so much that I knew what I was doing by the time I was 19. I knew.
Mm.
That's how I was able to get so many people in the Hartford area to follow me because I knew what time it was. So that was the difficulty, getting people to really see my vision and understand that we can make this work without going to the record label or,
Right.
you know, worrying about radio.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing how you just tied that together in your research and uh, research and getting data that you've gathered. So, what is it like, right, being affiliated with one of the most iconic movements in hip hop?
Mm. Well, it's surreal, I would say. My mom tells me I remind her all the time. I don't mean to, but it's surreal. In '97, uh, my brother Rashid Sabani, who started Comrad Camp, and there was four of us who went. We went to the Wu-Tang Forever concert at the
Mm,
Meadows Music Theater, and I got thrown out because at the end of the concert, RZA said, you know, this is Hartford, this is y'all stage. Anybody want to come up here? Come on. So I tried to get on stage. I believe I was 15 in '97. So I tried to get on stage, and security like grabbed me and said, "You can't do that." And RZA was like, "No, no, no, come on, come on." I tried to get on stage, and then they carried me out. So you fast forward to like 2006, um, I become real cool with Solomon Childs.
mm,
Solomon Childs is on Supreme Clientele. He's on the song Stroke of Death. I believe that's track 13. I became real cool with Solomon Childs. He's part of Theodore Unit, which is Ghostface's, you know, everybody in Wu has a splinter group. So I became real cool with Solomon Childs. And then I became even more tight with Beretta 9, who I still
mm,
talk to frequently. So I became real cool with them. And at that point, I wasn't per se like a killer bee. I just knew them. I had songs with them, and it was just, you know, it was what it was, and it was just, you know. But around 2009, I believe it was 2009, I started reaching out to RZA on MySpace of all things, and just started really like talking to them constantly. Anybody in Wu, I'm either showing up or I'm calling them, text, not text, but messaging them, rather you
mm,
say DM, I guess. And so it became accelerated because they saw that I was like diligent, and I wasn't like,
mhm.
you know, I wasn't like saying Wu Tang. I don't hardly do that now. I wasn't like trying to like, I wasn't trying to clout chase, you would call it. I was more just like, I
So,
like their movement. I like what they were doing, and they rhymed how I like to rhyme. So you know, and I they're my favorite group. So it became just I wasn't going away, you know. So I'm not quite sure what year it was, but then eventually I started talking to Buddha Monk quite a bit and Dungeon Master. Start
oh,
talking
wow.
to them on a regular basis. So they're from Brooklyn Zoo, the 10th Chamber, which is Papa Wu and Old Dirty Bastards
Mhm,
faction, if you will, of the Wu. I started talking to Buddha Monk quite a bit. And yeah, you know, Papa Wu, rest in power. You know, he spoke to Papa Wu because back then there was only two ways really into Wu. It was, well, even now, well, now no one's coming anywhere, but it was either RZA put you in. That's why there's so many West Coast Killer Bees because RZA moved out to Los Angeles slash Vegas. Either RZA put you in or Papa Wu put you in the 10th chamber. Other than that, there was no way in. Right to
oh,
this day,
wow.
there's no way in unless Buddha Monk or RZA himself. So Buddha Monk and Dungeon Master liked what I was doing. Uh, yeah, they put me in. I put out an album in 2017 or 18, 2017, I believe, called Yellow Jacket, Friends of the Killer Bees.
Hmm.
It's got Beretta 9, Buddha Monk, uh, Judah Priest from Brooklyn Zoo, aka Zoo Bullies. And then I just became more and more cool. And as like once you meet one of them and they know that you're rocking with this one, then they're more likely to, okay, hey, I'll do a song with you, and hey, I'll do a show. And next thing you know, I'm just like everything became. I still always Comrade Camp. You know what I mean? This is still
Right.
it's still Comrade Camp Incorporated. However, like that's why you see what I'm wearing. It's all Comrade Camp.
Hmm.
But it is very humbling, and it's great that they accepted me. Part of it could have been my skills. Part of it could have been my diligence. So then Beretta 9, who's from Killer Army, you know, I became real cool with him. And then Shogun Assassin reached out to me and said, let's do an album. So we did the Killer Comrades album. And just on and on. So, I know the most of them, and they kind of like have strong ties to Connecticut anyway. A lot
Uh-huh.
of them. Ghost and Ray have aunts in Connecticut, Hartford. So they kind of they were dealing with a guy named Anthony, rest in power to him as well. He had Anthony's Clothing, and he started something called Heaven and Hell,
Oh wow.
a clothing company that's been reignited. His daughter started it back up after he passed. Heaven and Hell is based on the song Heaven and Hell off the Purple Tape, right? Only built for Cuban links. One of the greatest albums ever recorded, by the way. So them already having ties to Connecticut, for them it was a no-brainer. And I think a lot of it had to do with how strong Comrade Camp was. There's so many of us that was like,
Yeah.
hey, everyone that's in Comrade Camp is not a killer bee, but
Right.
you still have you're perpetuating the culture of a large crew and a family. You
Hmm.
understand? So it's
Yes,
great
for sure.
to answer your question. I love being. It's not something I try to go too hard to make sure people focus, but it is, of course, to me, it's an accomplishment. I would say, yeah.
Mm. And how can one within the Conrad camp, get a hold of you or get a hold of the point of contact that if they need something?
You mean like members?
Yes, within
Well,
the.
all the members have my number. I mean,
Oh, they
just like I
just.
have theirs.
I wasn't sure there was like a, like if you have team leads or squad
Oh
leaders
no,
or
no, no,
something
no,
like that.
no. Oh no. Oh, you mean like is there like some type of protocol or something?
Yeah, yeah.
No, no. There's no. We're not. I mean, we do call ourselves Comrade Camp Marine Corps, but we are not the military. So
Right.
like any member can talk to me. Mike Buford just finished some songs that we're gonna be releasing tonight or tomorrow, and I think he sent it to me at like 4:35 in the morning, and I texted him back. The life giving MCs right here, right now. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So like, yeah, Comrade members, at least the ones on the East Coast, the majority of us have met. We know each other.
Okay.
Even some that are from the Midwest have met some from Cali or some from Arizona or New Mexico. So like, everyone has everyone's number for the most part. Like everyone can talk to each other. Yeah.
Right. So let's dive, into your process, right? And your MC and production. How do you approach writing versus producing? Is one more natural than the other to you?
I think writing's a lot easier.
Okay.
Writing's a lot easier. So the thing is for the most part, to be honest with you, I don't really write that much now. Unless I write it on the spot, I won't just write just for the sake of writing, right? So I have tons of notebooks,
Wow.
right? And it's not like they're just you know, I just write a little bit and then I leave it alone, right? For the most part, let me see. For the most part, I'll fill up the whole page, right? Fill up the
Wow.
whole page. I write really small. And then sometimes I'll use the back, sometimes I won't. But I was on a habit where I tried to write 2,000 verses a year.
Great.
So I have tons. I probably have easily I probably easily have 12,000 verses I haven't used. So I'm not counting hooks. So writing comes natural, but a lot of the stuff that you've heard actually isn't written. I'm just freestyling it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So the freestyle process comes a lot more natural, it sounds like to you.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
And your tools, right? Because you have a lot of tools as I see in your studio setup. What tools are most essential to you?
The microphone,
Okay.
um, the headphones,
Okay.
um, Uh, I still keep a traditional, analog style mixer.
Nice.
Um, I don't, you know, I used to have an MPD, like a mini MPC.
Mhm.
I don't really, but I don't go too crazy on production anymore. But I have like a couple different mics depending on like who's recording or I've recorded bands, jazz bands, rock. So depending on that, so that's kind of why I have the mixer because I want to plug in multiple instruments, and of
Yeah.
course the software is important, but it doesn't have to be any type of name brand, anything specific. It's just, I'm pretty simple in my process. I
Okay.
tend to use like I would say so the instrumental or if the most I've used on a track is like 8 or 9 tracks. I don't overthink it, you know. I'll do a main vocal, I'll do a backup, put it all the way in the left speaker, next backup all the way in the right speaker. Might do one midline.
Hmm.
So I might do for my vocals maybe 3 or 4 tracks most. I don't overthink it. I keep it
Yeah, yeah.
simple, right?
Right, right.
You know,
Okay.
I just remember like the old DJ Clue mixtapes and Tony Touch and stuff where you're talking about they have a 4 track recorder and they're in DJ Clue's kitchen and they're just recording and they're on a live microphone. Like so now it's like everybody's gotten too biblical about this stuff where like they
Right,
need to have Pro Tools, they need to have a booth, you have to they have to have everything in the world just to when it's really all you need is a microphone, headphones, a computer,
right,
maybe even a phone. So, I just don't try to overthink it.
right. So, how do you maintain your originality, right,
Hmm.
with while still nodding to hip hop's legacy?
That's an interesting question. Well, here's the thing, and DJ Premier said this, right? And I just happen to agree with him. So there's 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 hip hop and there's rap, obviously, right? I'm for the most part a boom bap artist. I like boom bap, right? I like lo-fi stuff. Sometimes I like stuff without drums, just like the piano bass line. But a lot of people disagree with Chris said this, but Premier tried to tell people there's a right way to do hip hop and there's a wrong way.
Mm,
That is all, right? And I agree with that. So like if I hear okay, I don't want to do that. I'm not gonna name anybody. But if I hear something like whatever it is, I'll say that's not done properly.
mm,
It's just
mhm.
not. It's just not, right? So like you don't even always have to rhyme. You know what I mean? Like you go like think about
Yeah,
Doom or Capadonna. You don't even have to rhyme all the time, right?
right.
But you got to think about what when hip hop was formulated, right? What was hip hop's goal, right? And it was 3 goals in hip hop: to entertain, to educate, and to
Yeah.
enlighten.
Hmm.
That's it. That's it. So that doesn't mean I'm going to come out here and preach to you and give you a sermon, but hopefully I can say something in there that might make you Google something. Since you're not going to go to the library, kids, we know we're not going to do that. But that is the original stated purpose of hip hop: to educate, entertain, and enlighten. Everyone
Hmm.
needs entertainment. Everyone needs to be educated, and everyone needs to have their consciousness raised. So there's many ways to be original and still keeping true to that format of the 3 E's that I
Hmm.
subscribe to. So how I believe that I try to stay original and I try to say things that people don't say. So I try to come up with my own slang. I constantly read and I constantly try to consume media. Believe it or not, I might not like mainstream music, but what I really do like is like I like comedy sitcoms. I like Blue Bloods, you know what I mean? Like procedural stuff. Because
Right.
what'll happen is someone had to write that, right? So they're writing that, and where are they
Hmm.
getting it from? The headlines, the news. So you can learn quickly about how people think on a mass scale by just watching something like Chicago PD, because they're
Right.
going to incorporate bits and pieces of reality into this fiction. So
Mhm.
I actually watch more TV than I used to. When I first got back from vacation, if you will, I didn't watch TV for the first 6 months. Now I kind of look at it every day just to because I study media and I study communication as a whole. So
Mhm.
that's what I think helps keep me original. I've been an avid comic reader since I was little, and I've been skateboarding since I was 6 years old. So I kind of think in a very fluid. my grandmother was a pianist, my mom's a musician, and so just coming from hearing a lot of jazz and a lot
Mhm.
of different stuff. It wasn't just hip hop growing up. I actually was into punk rock, real heavy, real into like my mom loves Culture Club. You know what I mean? Anything from like Culture Club to Roy Ayers to Earth, Wind and
Mhm.
Fire. So I was raised in a very versatile household. So I think that helps me be original and not think like, I have to go from point A, B to C. I might go from point C back up to A, then go to Z, then go back to A, and just it don't gotta be one way. It still has to be the right way, though. Don't get me
Right.
wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So in 2025, right? This year,
Mhm.
what does hip hop mean to you? Has the message changed?
Has the business changed?
Message.
The message? Nope, nope. I don't think it's changed. I don't think it's changed at all. I think what's happened is for people as they age and they start to say that, well, hip hop's not what it used to be. No, you're just not what it used to be.
Mm,
Okay, you
that part.
understand?
Yep.
And I'll tell you why. When I was coming up, there was MC Hammer. I already uh, referenced him. There was Vanilla Ice.
Right.
There was whack rappers then too, right?
Right.
So what happens is it's not that hip hop has changed because hip hop was never like the dope stuff never was on the radio anyway.
Right.
It wasn't then and it ain't now. They might do like a little old school hour or the street hour or the underground hour. Every single major hip hop station in every market has that. But they say they're gonna play the real stuff. But I've been in these radio stations and trust me, up on the wall it says you can play Mobb Deep, the Little Kim song, the
Mhm.
real. You can play Jada Kiss, Why, and that's the real hip hop. It's a list. You can't just play whatever you want. People get fined, fired, suspended all the time at Hot 97 for going off the rails. So since hip hop started in the streets, in basements, in corners, in parks, it's still there. So when a person tells me hip hop's changed, no, you've changed. You've gotten older, and your mentality is that you become lazy
Mhm.
or you don't have the interest to go find the dope stuff. I tell people on this, on every show, on every podcast, in every discussion on hip hop, I can name you right now 50 artists that are really good. They're just not getting the exposure. And
Exactly.
hopefully they can live with it and they're content. Because I found peace with the fact that I'm not gonna be Nelly or
Right.
whoever. I
Mhm.
don't care.
No, I think that you're accurate in what you just stated because it's the originality comes from the artist. It's the artist that has that mentality of making a difference, making a change, if you will. Probably still kind of like you have the baseline, but add on to it, right? I think it's like a pizza and figuring out what toppings you want to add to it. But yeah, so do you feel like the underground scene gets the respect it does today, or excuse me, deserves today?
I think in Europe,
Okay.
they really, like Daz Effects, Illa G, who was good friends with Sean Price. Illa G, I spoke to him not that long ago. He's on Illa G's on Murder Music. He was kind of a infamous mob affiliate.
Mhm.
They've all moved to Germany and
Wow.
they love it over there. And they're getting 4 bands a show, and they're doing 3 or 4 shows in a day. Like they love it in Europe. They still kind of have because it's new to them. So I
Right.
think over there it gets the respect. Over here, you I think you get like people that will pretend they respect it once you get
Mm,
big, if that
mm.
makes sense, right? So like 50 Cent blows up, and then everyone's like, I had his mixtape before he was big. You probably didn't. You probably didn't. That's what the kids call capping, big cap.
Right.
You
Right.
know what I mean? So it's like, like I'm not even speaking for myself. I'm speaking for my big brother, Rashid. Like he had the first single, Protect Your Neck, where literally
Mm.
mathematics just drew it and it was a tape and they were passing it out in New York. So
Wow.
like I can legitimately say like I know who Most Def is before like the group he's in. He's in Bush Babies. He's singing all their hooks. He had the single We Get Love. Like legitimately, I was involved with the underground. You get people that will say they are, but if you actually try to like conversate with them about hip hop and music, they really can't tell you too much.
like System Underground is like, I don't know, Tech Nine or something. I don't know what's going on.
Right.
You know, no
Right.
disrespect to Tech Nine, the homie, but so it doesn't get the respect that it should in
Right.
America. I don't think so. No.
Yeah, I have to agree with, well, I lived in Germany for a little bit, and just their culture there, it's open. I mean, in Europe, period, it's open to music and the different genres that are being played. I think it's more of like I don't know, like more, it's more lax, I guess,
Mhm.
for lack of a better term over there, and how we see things here in the US, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the
Oh yeah,
society is definitely different.
for sure. I mean, a lot of my I have a lot of collaborations with the local beat plug who's from Poland. Um, I did an album with a guy from a place called Leeds, which
Mm,
is in it's North England, called Precinct Phantom. I did an album with him. It just seems like they're more flexible, more open minded to ideas over in Europe, and
mhm,
and the reality is America's not the melting pot people pretend it is,
mm.
and it's just not. And I'm not going to go political, but it's just it's not as open minded and as much of a melting pot as people think it is. It's just not. But you go to somewhere like France, for example, that's a real melting pot.
Mhm.
There's people from all over there, and because you have the Euro rail, so people are just, as long as
Yeah.
you have a European ID, you can hop on a train and be in a different country in 2 hours, maybe in
Mm,
half an hour, depending where you're at. Even in Switzerland, so ideas are mixing. My guy Gills, who's part of Comrade West, Gills is over in he's doing a tour in Europe right now. He's
mhm.
probably about to perform in 2 hours. So yeah,
Yeah, that's what's up, There's a way to integrate it here. I'm sure that a lot of indie artists would appreciate that in general. Um, so how do you find balance, right, in your authenticity with growth in this changing industry, music industry?
I just strive to just there's a few things that I've kind of trained myself to do that I think have served me well. I don't pay attention to what's like trending. I never have. Like I've always been very adverse to like, that was a thing back in '88 and the '90s. Yo, '92 Chubb Rocks is on the scene. No, no, I'm not gonna tell you what year it is. No, no, I can't help you with that. And then like everyone comes out and it's just baggy pants and you wear baggy pants. And it's
Oh yeah.
tight pants, you wear tight pants. I'm not the person that's going to chase trends, try to stay relevant, because I would hope that comrades as a whole and all the young Wu brothers, our skills are going to overpower trends so that we can maintain. So I think that helps me stay balanced by not trying to do whatever's, you know what I mean? Like, everyone started calling it piff. I think
Mm,
that's ridiculous. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
like now it's loud. Tomorrow it'll be cyber dust. I'm not gonna. No, it's just weed. I'm not gonna keep changing just to try to seem young, cool, hip, relevant. It doesn't matter. Like that doesn't mean necessarily that I'm stuck in time.
Mhm.
Great Gangstar song, by the way. But it's not that I'm stuck in time. It's that I'm not gonna keep trying to. Because if you start chasing trends as an artist, you'll be doing
Right.
that forever, and you'll never know who you are.
That is so true.
So
Wow.
that helps me to stay balanced by just being myself, man. I'm gonna talk about skateboarding. Might talk about
Right.
Star Wars. You know what I'm saying? Maybe a little bit political, but most of the time, I like to just talk about how good of a rapper I am. That's enough for me.
Okay. And are there any like upcoming projects, collaborations, or events that folks should know about? I believe uh, you just came out with a track, right? With I'm blanking out. It's been a long
Coop
day.
days,
Yeah, Kunte. Like he's gonna get me because he was the one that I guess, referred me to you. So
yeah, Coop days
shout
from the
shout out to Coop
DMV.
Davis.
Yeah, it's called More Fire. It's everywhere that you stream. I didn't put it on SoundCloud yet, but I will after the show. But it's on anything you stream on. It's called More Fire. It's under my full name, Suprema Law Magnetic.
Mhm.
Okay, here we go. In the next month, we have the Wu Affiliates Part 2 album that I'm on, like a lot. I'm on it like 6 times. We have the Wu Family Presents Suprema Law. I have an EP called Boom Bappin' coming out under Empire Records. I have
Yellow Jacket, Friend of the Killer Bees Part 4. I drop it like last time I dropped an album. I'm trying to drop an album almost every day on SoundCloud. So I drop like an EP or an album almost every day anyway. So SoundCloud is almost nonstop every day. Um, we got Azim, aka excuse me, we got the Life Giving MC coming out with the deluxe version of his album. What's the name of your album called? Shine Brighter. It's on Bandcamp right now. It's called Shine Brighter, the Life Giving MC. But the deluxe edition is coming out, which is gonna be featuring some Wu family. Um, Helen Marie's gonna be on it. Broken Sword. You know, just a lot of the people that we kind of revolve around. So those are the main things. Yellow Jacket Part 4, Friend of the Killer Bees. The Wu Affiliates album Part 2. Wu Family presents. Uh, Juice the Witch Doctor presents the Wu Family Supreme Allah. That's gonna be my solo album,
Okay.
and I'm trying to hopefully get a Rhythm Gang album together by
Nice.
July. I mean, we move fast and break things, to quote
Yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg. So we got at least 6 albums coming out in the next month.
Oh, wow. That is phenomenal. And so, what legacy do you want to leave behind in this culture?
I would just hope that when people think about Comrade Camp and to a equal, not lesser or greater degree, the Killer Bees, I would hope that people would see that me personally, I did the best I could to extend good hip hop, good community building values, um, and quality. Not necessarily quality over quantity, because I put out a ton of music. However, it's sustainable quality. Like you can put out 10 songs a day as long as they're good.
Right?
Make sure they're good, and then put out 10, put out 15, put out 100, 1,000, anything, as long as it's good. And that's kind of what I want to leave behind, is that I didn't overthink it, I didn't over strategize, and I didn't over politicize it, right? Because I don't want to be like I'm not Most Def, I'm not KRS One. All people I love, but I'm not dumb. I'm me. So I want to be known for having hey, Big L's known for his skills. I just want to be known for having skills, but also knowing that I started something that hopefully will perpetuate for a very long time.
Mm. That is very like spoken like a champ. I know like your music is impeccable. It's just your style, and I don't know, like there's just something about your process, if you will, that I can't. You know, I'm lost for words right now. But
Thank you.
if yes, it leaves a very impressionable moment in my mind. So, your favorite beat of all time? Do you have a favorite beat of all time, or you just? I'm
That I
just
made?
wondering. Yeah.
Oh, ooh. Um, whew. So I don't think like I don't have a favorite beat that I made, but I have like a lot of favorite flips, right? So like Roy Ayers, one of my mom's favorite songs, Everybody Loves the Sunshine, which Naughty by Nature used, Brand Nubian used. Eru from Cali used it to the best, you know, lend me your ear, stop and stare, listen up, check it. Eru's about the record. No panoramic, like one of the best verses, you know, peace to the God, you know. So that doo, 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 doo. So I flipped that. I've remade that beat. I like to do that for enjoyment. Remake stuff that's already been made. Like go find the record and remake my own version of it. So I really love yeah, I really love the flip of that. Um I like the flip of the Dynasty intro that Jay-Z did. I
Mhm.
believe Angela Wimbish was on the sample. Like I remade that one, but it sounds very similar, but the drums might be slightly. It's not how Just Blaze did it. So those are two of my favorites, probably the remake of the Dynasty intro. But I really love the Mind Elevation beat that I made from old Diana Ross song with Shogun Assassin from Killer Army off the Killer Comrades album. Like I made that, and then of course, from the Master Yoda projects, I like the Burt Bacharach flip I did of Piano in the Dark by Brenda Russell. Yeah. Uh-oh. Hey, we got Josh Zion, my manager, Josh Zion from Missouri in the building. Thank you for tapping in, man.
Yeah. Thank you
Um,
for tapping in.
yeah. Oh yeah, Josh. That was we need 2 more shows. He helped superpower our marketing in
Wow.
2018 and got us really out there. He's how I met Mike Booth. He's how I met uh a ton of people. And he's a genius, brilliant marketer. Um, so yeah, I really liked the Burt Bacharach clip I did of Brenda Russell's Piano in the Dark, and then of course the double song Captain of Her Heart, the piano loop I did on that. That might be my favorite right there from the Live from Exile Part Two. The doom 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 doom. I like that one. That's probably my favorite beat right there. Yeah, I think I played that for you the other day.
Yes. I love that one too. I mean, I don't know which one I like, to be honest with you, but yeah, when you know hit me up with your new ones, I'm like, okay, your new songs. I'm like, okay, it's always a different thing, you know.
Yeah,
So who is your dream collaborator? Do you have one, or have you had one already that you want to talk about right quick?
my dream collab.
Yeah, like an MC producer,
There's
artist.
so many to mention. Oh well, production. Well, I mean production wise. I mean I've done stuff with RZA, so that's
Okay.
so we can check that off. I like P Rock a lot.
Oh,
I like P Rock, and one of the guys I really like to collab with is Odyssey from California. Odyssey's fire. So it's Oddisee. Odyssey.
mm,
Um, I really want to collab with Camouflage Monk from the Griselda camp, but I have a video with him, so I guess that's one checked off. Um, for the most part, to be honest, a lot of people I've wanted to work with, I've actually worked with. I did a song with DJ Premier. Um, yeah, I've done most of the things that I want to do. Lyricist wise, though, I love to get a track from Jay Electronica. Uh,
okay.
I when he lived in Brooklyn, and he gave his number out on MySpace, I used to call him every day and just start rhyming as soon as he answered and harass him. Um, he actually still remembers that. My guy Kambada from New Haven, he did a show with him, and he put me on the phone with him. He said, "You're that little dude, you should call." I used to bother him because Jay Electronica lived in New York, just like Common, like from a long time back. They were in Brooklyn.
Wow.
Maybe in and out of Connecticut. Just like Buckshot from Boot Camp. He's always in Hartford. You know what I mean? Not
Yeah.
even on no music stuff, just like at a restaurant, you know. You know, this is Connecticut. This is where pizza was invented. So, you
Right.
know.
Right.
But yeah, so yeah, I mean I can name a lot of MCs that I like to collab with, but you know, for the most part I've done them, Master Killer, you know, guys, guys that I know that I respect too, you know.
Yeah.
But you
So
know, I love one from Benny the Butcher. You know,
okay.
I like how Griselda's bringing like the bars back. They always homage the Wu-Tang. My guy from
Mhm.
Hartford, Fuego Bass, is signed to Benny the Butcher's label, so maybe we can make that happen. Actually, Frank Yola from Comrade Camp West has a song coming out with Fuego Bass and
Oh,
the Black Soprano Family guys. I actually am the one that hooked that up for him, so that's cool. And you know, certain collabs that might even be a dream collab for me, I'll stay off of them. You know, because it's like, nah, this is for you. You're part of Comrade Camp. Let's let you get it. You know,
oh wow.
yeah.
That's very nice of you. So, how was your experience with Ethno 360?
Oh, this has been very hospitable. Um, it's been you were on time, professional, and you know you're asking questions. Maybe I might have talked too much. I apologize, but no, I
No.
it was really great. I appreciate having me on here. You know,
Well, I appreciate you. And um, are there any folks you want to shout out today?
well, I've been talking about everybody the whole time, but yeah, man, you know, Power Miracle Lights in here. I got a single with him. If you're still here, Jakai, drop the name of the single. Just about everybody that's on here, I have music with.
Oh
Uh,
wow.
yeah. Well, Josh was my manager. Um, Jay Suko, I have tons of stuff with. Uh, oh. Yeah, shout out Butch Brownstone. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I'm saying that because he just texted me.
uh,
Um, yeah, man. Hold on one second. Can you hear me still?
I can hear you. You're frozen, but I
Yeah,
can. Oh, there you are.
Butch Brownstone. I have tons of. He's a great producer out of Middletown, Connecticut. I got tons of songs with Butch Brownstone. His rhyme partner, because he raps too. He's like a producer rapper. Butch Brownstone, Wise One, local beat plug, Broken
Mhm.
Sword. Oh man, it never stops.
Right.
Noble Ruffin. Shout out. Let's just keep it simple. Shout out all the Wu Killer Bees, Killer Army, Sons of Man. Black Knights, Royal Fam, Jimmy Kang, the Wu Brothers manager. Shout out Carol. Shout out my moms, the kids. Shout out everybody, man. You know, of course, Mike Booth. I probably said that, but my man Trill Will, Ice Dog, Empire. It'll go on and on because
Right.
I have so many collabs with so many different people. Yeah, somebody said Azim in the chat. Yes. Yeah, man. So yeah, like I said, I appreciate you having me. And look up. I have 2 accounts, so if you look me up on like Spotify or Apple, there's Supreme Allah and it's Supreme Allah Magnetic. You know what I'm saying? I know, right? Right, Mike? Right, Booth? Look at Josh Zion showed up. This is amazing. Dungeon Master, Buddha Monk, the big homie, leader of the Brooklyn Zoo, 10th Chamber, of course, the Abbot, and True Master, Allah Mathematics, Noble Phoenix Ali, the whole Wu administration, the faculty, man. And just hopefully people check me out, man. I'm on all streaming platforms, and anybody that wants to collab, Annette, put all my information in there. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Hoopla. That's not a real thing. I just like
Yeah, I'll go ahead and add everything. And so once we're done with this, well, actually, we're streaming live right now on YouTube and Facebook, but I'm going to do a drop for Instagram, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Twitter, X, TikTok. I pretty much am on a lot of the major platforms. Is there anything else you want to say to the audience before we depart, sir?
No, I just want to if you could you pick a song that you like and play it, and then we're gonna have the young god do a little in studio performance for the people real quick.
Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
Okay. So just find a song to play, and I'm gonna get the mic ready, and then we'll be right back.
Okay, sounds good. Well, here we go. Oh, let's see here. Let's go back to, let's do recovery tape part 11.
Big news. Find new lower.
Gotta love these commercials. My apologies, guys. Oh, well, hopefully you guys are eating fresh. It looks like there's free delivery. Okay.
On a bet on sports, played on a field or ice or course. Bear Rivers is the place. Over under.
Another commercial. Well, it looks like maybe he'll be back before I start this. So my apologies. Okay. This is called the Recovery Tape Part 11.
Sure Will said a quote about Shang Tsung, and that's what inspired this. Rappers should stop playing, yo. Get serious. Listen, the tarantula. Never mind. I'm not doing the hook till later, so y'all better just hold on to your seats, man. Decimation time. 1, 2. I've had enough of the daily bluff acting tough. Non-rappers carrying on backwards. The rhyme not getting your business like dark web hacker. Shang Tsung snatching your soul. You pecking your bowl. I'm working to reload my homicide equipment. Leave egos origami twisted. Split your pride into pieces in any instant. 8,000 songs past average MCs. I am different. A hard head makes a soft. You fools don't listen. I'm different. Spit with sniper intentions. I take heads off based on mere suspicion. I'm itching to leave competition limping. Put your buzz on permanent suspension. Principle, the super eagle got supervision. I see the snakes from up high, must I point out you try and you must die. Spirit wise, I leave you damaged forever. You stand no chance against the mighty Prime Omega. Cannons. Whatever y'all planning. Rethink that, man. Yo. The tarantula, murk rappers for fun. My bite leave careers in the dirt. You better run. The tarantula, murk rappers for fun. My bite leave careers in the dirt. You better run. The tarantula, murk rappers for fun. My bite leave rappers in the dirt. You better run. The tarantula, murk rappers for fun. My bite leave rappers in the dirt. You better run. The tarantula, murk rappers for fun. My bite leave careers in the dirt. You better run. The tarantula, murk rappers for fun. My bite leave rappers in the dirt. It's Comrade.
His bars, everything hits hard.
Yo, dudes gotta get more comfortable being themselves, man. I am not your savior. Might not even be your role model. I don't care. I'm just trying to do my thing. Be the best MC I can be. Comrades. Brooklyn Zoo. Young 10th Chamber, man. But strong. Yo. Hey, yo. Young Killer B. I make the change I want to hear consistent. Push creative limit. Rhyme farmer, sowing good, earning my spinach. Move ball bushels, that is my business. Try if you want, yo, that is your ending. I'm nothing to sneeze at, Annette say so. My rhyme 9 has extendo, and I'm letting it go. Silver fist flow is fatal, ask about me. Hypochondriac, don't bring that trash around me. I'm nervous, react snap quick if disturbed while working. For certain, we elevate constant, hover above nonsense, airborne. My big brother made birds move around. Airport, I tear for rappers that have, then we have a laugh on how I do them so bad, their confidence disappears. So many rhymes, I can spit straight and I'll stop for 10 years. Cheers to the worldwide fam, no one better. Signing off, the one-man terror cell, truly yours, Prime Omega. Yeah, that's how we get busy over here in the 10th. Jabs on the producto. Yeah, life-giving MC.
Shit,
Go.
we back in this, yo. Killer be the life-giving MC swarming, cuz new album on the way. This here is just to feed the buzz. Power moves, my grocery store opening next month. Be the positive change you wanna see to clean the mud. Already made history, but I'm quiet with credentials. Teaching higher science to children, cause I make it simple. Help the number of people under me start their own business, cause if I don't help others get theirs, then I ain't winning, and I ain't self-made. I'm self-improved, keep the energy in the team circulating smooth. I can't do what on myself, and I ain't trying. The biggest impact is only an organized squad can be providing. I work on myself, on my craft daily, and seeing people's lives improve from my rhymes is amazing. Creating opportunities like my OGs did for me. Now I'm back on the record with Magnetic Allah Supreme. Like that, son. Make them react, son.
Wow. Okay. So let's go ahead and bring Supreme Allah to the stage and our guest singer.
The life-giving MC. Okay. Okay.
Well, first and foremost, I am the life-giving MC, 10th Chamber Wu-Tang. And just want to say thank y'all for having me on. My brother Supreme, I appreciate the opportunity. He was like, I want you to rock real quick. And I was like, all right, cool. Why not?
Hey, Power Miracle Light, thank you for the donation. Thank you, man.
Oh, work.
Yes, thank you.
Wow, cool. Let's go.
Hey, yo, get the volume up a little bit on the instrumental. So I was going through a couple of joints real quick for y'all one time. I'll keep it kind of low key. I've been busy all day, but let's get that energy around. You heard? Now my B-boys, we're gonna start off like this. Yeah. Yeah. I be the flying robber, you get to be the redeemer, you keep it the river. Speaking of the miracles in the mother, but then just getting your adrenaline rush will flow like the rest your metabolism. Get conquered, not the knowing you walk strong, but verbal armies. Swallow your levels to me, 7 feet. Like I together around me with just how I think. The number 7 manifest how your life like heaven, the star, justice, the white question. The sun, the symbolizes freedom, positivity, light. I'm setting mind shining, the light hit you. Power of promise, she awaits a black more valuable than diamonds. Yeah. But yo, it's just the intro. You have to be into the flow to get the info. flow, lyrical medicine, man, over hot dams, unless you fight it like Phoenix. The ancestors born again, no gimmicks, listen close. This fair with this idiotic manifestation from beginning to finish. The wizard is many physicists, humble the lyricists, even non-believers filling in. Knowledge and wisdom coming together, brick by brick, like pyramid. Who else could it be? It has to be blessings on the beat, the L to the ESS. If I wasn't, then why would you settle for less? The inner thought, chemical, identical to the mystical elements. How about the micro finesse? Have a present tense, and then in context, words of life. I bring the abstract and science, the MC, generally the infinite energy, God symmetry of flow that will live throughout the centuries. But will it really withstand? Yeah, that's straight.
Come on.
Yeah, yeah. No samples on this beat, by the way. This one's called Grow Wise. On my album Shine. Yeah. The reason why y'all rock the flow to rock the boat and thought bringing the life and grow one sight explode. Despite your one positive thought decided to get on to the ball from another infinite conscious than it ain't hip hop. Cause hip needs to know it's a form of intelligence. To be hip means to be update and relevant. Hop is a form of you can't just observe a hop, you gotta hop up and do it. Intelligent action, too many people stay reacting, thinking they moving forward, but move on like Michael Jackson. Industry tactics make listeners passive. Well, I speak life, but for exercising negative words, think twice. This is the time of the rise of the people worldwide cries with disenfranchised lives. Who see truth, oppressing dissatisfied, unheard like pantomime, but the wickedly wise are too synthesized by the hands of time. Yeah, you hear it, it's at the right time. I bring light to night skies when I write rhymes. Righteousness heals the souls of the right minds. Become aware of the times and grow wise. You hear it, it's at the right time. I bring light to night skies when I write rhymes. Righteousness heals the souls of the right minds. Become aware of the times and grow wise. Children, we gon' be preaching behind the project building, plotting on the way that we can save all the children. Increase the quality of life that they got live in. On the block with the final call to stop the killing. Cause we need to dismantle that. The hidden hand of the taking the black man on crack. When you plan against God and disadvantage, he hands it back. Illuminate the scandal like evidence on the men of wax. The fact is, they devour the earth's life force like a lactus. Colonize and demineralize the whole atlas. Poison in the atmosphere, in the water. I ain't just about the ad-libs on a farmer. Regenerate the earth, liberate the curse. Healing the circles of plants which create a scourge. The life-giving them seed, keeping the people tapped in. Cause hip-hop is even the most, even the best. Yeah. You hear it, this at the right time. Like the night skies when I write rhymes. Righteousness heals the souls of the right minds. Become aware of the times and grow wise. You hear it, this at the right times. I bring light to night skies when I write rhymes. Righteousness heals the souls of the right minds. Become aware of the times and grow wise.
Right.
I got one more for y'all. So thank y'all for rocking me one more time. This next one is called Envision. So just a nice quiet spot, you know what I'm saying? Just close your eyes and visualize yourself. Visualize who you want to be in your life. I want you to feel that power flowing through you. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to flip this one time. Listen to the sound and the rhythm, let your mind start drifting. Build an image inside of your life, maybe you envision. If it's freaking something negative, you change your position. You can choose a thought you want to program your subconscious with. This is what I mean by tapping into your power. Start to penetrate the clouds and the world bows down to you. The world is yours, it's on your mind view. The universe responds to you in the cause. Just think about it. Conditioning is either a heaven or a prison. And many of us write our own life sentences. This is it, the wrong is dropping, waiting for the flow goes off from the dome to the floors. For a shining with information calls for conversation. People don't think well enough for themselves. Thoughts artificial like the Matrix. When I'm bringing it back to basics, it's really all about your self-relation. Cause how you see yourself is how you interact with someone else. And if you exact, then that's that. But it's time to resurrect your thoughts from the depths. The matter of fact is that you are the God that you're enlightenment. What time is it? It's time for us to make a change. No longer looking in the mirror like it's someone strange. To yourself when you let this track bang. Let your eyes circumnavigate your prize. Let your desire beat your will. Going in with the kill. When it comes to something that you really want to build, still your mind soul search to find your goals first. Devise a plan of action, get to work. Get in the dirt, plant the seeds to grow into who you want to be. You want to succeed, just keep on chasing your dreams until they manifest. Set a link for nothing less. Persistence is key. What's words from Bang Bless? Peace.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Bravo.
Yeah.
Standing ovation.
1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. Oh, that's the life-giving MC, man. I call him my zine. People get mad, yo, but it's hip hop benefit. What time is it? Oh, it's Buddha o'clock. Hold on. We want to thank y'all for having us come out. I'm a freestyle one time for the people, yo. Salute everybody coming out representing Comrade Camp. It's the Mighty Mighty Rhythm Gang, yo. Listen, son, this is my hip hop testament. The tarantula, my sting strong enough to kill an elephant. This is my hip hop testament. The tarantula, sting strong enough to. Yo, MCs best stop playing. No, this is no layman. Your boy nice with it. European bomb threat. Ask a neck. Cypher 360. I'm in the know. My flow. Bomb hard like G.I. Joe. Yo. Lead foes. Strung out like yo-yos from Blammo. Rap ammo. No sample. Nice with it. You paid a price with it. I steal the show when I freestyle. GTA. Heist with it. Twice with it. Don't gamble with your life with it. No dice with it. I'm tight spitting. You know the slogan. Hype down flow. I'm Hulk Hogan and see you screw, no Trojan, meaning I go in raw, demon paws, no flaws. Used to have gold inside my jaw, then I lost it. Don't worry about it. We known from Boston to Slauson. Comrade Camp, we do the flossing often. Ninja Turtle flow, cowabunga, awesome. Ask your man. Dip said it's cool, but we the new Taliban. It's the rhyme cocaine gang, boy. All we do is bring these grams. 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm gonna do the hook. This is my hip hop testament, the tarantula. My sting strong enough to kill an elephant. This is my hip hop testament, the tarantula. Sting strong enough to kill a beast. Thanks for having us.
Wow. Thank you so much. Wow. What a show.
We're almost done.
Yo, I represent the Harvard CT. Hey, yo, we about to do this thing live with the dualities. He talks about killing them C's. I talk about raising them. But right there is the basics, son. Because we rising and shining towards the sky, doing everything we can to create a sustainable enterprise. See, over time we doing this thing, we're doing the team. Check out, we got my sister and next. We're 360 degrees. There's knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. I get on the mic, I'm never coming underhanded. I rock like been blinded, they want the planet. Always different things be coming through. I'm not taking for granted, cause I understand what people can't run through to get what I got. So that right there is a twist in the plot. So the cream of the crop is now rising towards the sky. Do my thing for sure. Do or die. I'm never on the peace.
Yeah.
Wow.
Word. Yeah.
Definitely a party over there.
Yeah.
All we're missing is the popcorn and the chips and salsa or guacamole.
Yeah.
For sure. Wow, thank you so much, Kings, for blessing me and the audience today with your presence, your energy, your music, your flow. Wow.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you for having us, man.
with that being said, is there anything that you would like to leave the audience for today?
That's it, man. Comrade Camp Incorporated, man. Comrade Camp Incorporated. Killer Bees, 10 Chamber, Brooklyn Zoo, man. That's it. Zoo.
Right.
Our
And
team's life-giving MC album coming soon, man. This month.
okay. Well, with that being said, please let's continue to support the Unity for Social Justice. Let's free Monster Yo and all our brothers and sisters that need our support out here. This has been a broadcast of Showing Love Full Circle between NNO 360 and Supreme Allah and your cohort MC in the back. Peace.